This presentation is about my experience using artificial intelligence in education. I used to spend a lot of time and effort to design class activities, and this consumes a lot of my energy. I used artificial intelligence in this presentation to test if I can save this effort and time, especially when designing PowerPoint slides and assessment activities like MCQ or other question types like true or false or matching or open-ended questions. And I am sharing here some examples to demonstrate my experience to use AI in the previous weeks. Here I will give some examples, one for summarizing text and the other for converting course material to MCQ, and the third for to convert an image to MCQ and other type of questions, and I will end by an elaborate section on generating graphs from data. The AI summarizer, here I'm using Quillbot, and here I use paragraph, and then what I want is to summarize. Therefore I get this text from one of my teaching material I have, and this is the summary here. The example I'm using is about a lecture of mine that talks about water bodies, and I found that the summary is very good. Therefore I went to a very lengthy document that contains 48 types of water bodies, and the AI was able to summarize the above text into the one I put in italics here for each of the 48 types of water bodies. And I use this to create another interesting exercise for students. But here shows some examples, one for the arroyo and the other one for bay. The other example is to convert text to MCQ. Therefore I used a different software called questiongen.ai, and then I used part of my lecture on water security, and then I asked it the computer or the AI software to provide 4 questions, and each question has 4 choices. And also I specified the difficulty level as medium, and this is what I got here. I got the 4 questions with their answers, as you can see. I choose Q&A with explanation from the drop-down menu. Then I started the article here, and I divided it into 4 parts because the free software does not allow me to use a very long text. Therefore I put, this is section 1, and this is section 2, section 3, and section 4. And then I highlighted the part of the section that I wanted to create MCQ for, and then I get this. These are 4 questions, 1, 2, 3, 4 for the first part, and this is the 4 questions for the second part and for the third and part 4. And the questions are good, very good articulation of the STEM and the 4 choices, the model answer and the distractors. And I repeated the exercise, but this time not with the text but with an image. Therefore I used another software called AI Quiz Maker, and I use this graph from an article about water security, and then it produces 4 questions, and here the answer is highlighted in green, this is question 1, this is question 2, question 3, and question 4. And also question 5. And then because I answered the questions, it's an interactive, it gives me that I was able to answer all the 5 questions properly. Here, another example of converting PDF of presentations to MCQ. Therefore, here another software called Small PDF AI question generator. I choose a file, and then one of my presentations was about a brief history of spreadsheets, and then the software were able to produce the MCQ questions with the answer underneath. For the example, the first question, what spreadsheet program became the new industry standard after VisiCalc? And then the answer was B. Here are 5 questions. Then I generated different type of questions, true or false, from the same text from the same PowerPoint that is converted to PDF, and I was able to get. The first question is says Dan Bricklin invented VisiCalc alone without any help, and of course the answer is false, because he got the help of a friend. Then I tried another open-ended type of questions from the same text, and the first question says, what were the legal conflicts that distracted the VisiCalc developers in 1983, and who were the key figures involved? And we got the answer. It began in September 1983, and the legal conflicts between VisiCorp and Software Arts distracted the VisiCalc developers Daniel Bricklin and Bob Frankston. For this part of the presentation, my concluding remarks has to do with the fact that technology surprises us all the time, and artificial intelligence can be used to save time and effort. I used to spend a lot of time creating MCQs, and the instructor and teachers should use it with care and revise the output carefully, because their name is on the exam, not the AI. And students can use AI to submit work they didn't do. Therefore, there should be very close attention from teachers to the work of students, to know that if the students did the work or asked AI to do it for them. Here is a chart generation, and it has a comparison with AI. In this elaborate part of the presentation, I am going to use 2 examples. One of them is not so simple example, and it's a table of physical chemical parameters, and I use a software called Infogram. This is the data. I wanted to present this data of the physical chemical parameters into a chart. I used Infogram to suggest a graph for me, and then he asked me to create a project, and then he asked me to put the graph in the data in a single graph, and asked me to choose one of those. He does not choose for himself. Therefore, I suggested a type of graph, and he asked me to submit the data. I submitted the data in a table, and then I pasted the data in the proper place, and this is what we got if we use a bar chart. Here, the trick in this chart is that the numbers in the table are different orders of magnitudes apart. Therefore, using a normal scale may not be a very good choice. He tried a column chart and also another chart called bar stacked, and he used a line chart and even a pie chart that is not, of course, of any value because it's not part and it's wholes. And I end up with my suggestion here. My suggestion showed that I could solve and present the data more clearly using a logarithmic y-axis and use 3 points or three markers, one for the low value, one for the high value, and one for the maximum value dedicated by the water quality specs. Another more complicated example here, I used Egyptian data about winter and summer crops using the dates of plantation and the date of harvest. And I tried first with Excel, and then it didn't work. Therefore, I tried two AI software to see if they can catch the idea I am looking for or not. This is a table of data. It has the season, the crop, the water duty, the agriculture date, and the harvest date, and the period in days. Excel suggestions. Excel couldn't do much by the suggestion part. It gives me some suggestions that are not practical at all, like these ones. I used a program called Julius, and this Julius, I gave it the data and I asked it to produce some suggestions. It gave me this graphs that and I had to interact and communicate with the software to be able to improve the chart. Therefore, I used this one after a conversation with the AI that also of not very much value. And then I used another example by communicating more with the software, and I got this one. This is not very bad because it shows the x-axis the date, which is correct, and use the start and the agriculture and the harvest date on the same line, which also very good because I helped it and I asked him to put the planting date and harvesting date. And then we produced this one, but also not very satisfactory. My own suggestion for this graph is this one here. It is created by Excel using a stacked bar chart, and it allows me to see for each of the crops in the winter and summer seasons the starting date of agriculture and the ending date of harvesting. And these are my concluding remarks. In the first example, the infogram suggestions are not acceptable to me. For the second example, depending on Excel graph suggestions may not be acceptable in most cases, but the software I used for the second example either produced a graph that's not suitable, or maybe I didn't know how to chat and communicate with the AI program. When I wanted to improve the output, I took a lot of time and effort, and the output is far from the design I wanted. My conclusion is that because of personal preferences, some experienced infograph designers like myself may not accept the output of the AI graph generator.